Hello, welcome to Cushy TV. Today it brings me great sadness. The loss of legendary British heavyweight Joe Bugner. Yeah, Joe Bugner, age 75, died today in Brisbane, Australia. Yeah, so for many of you younger viewers who are Joe Bugner, a few older ones, he needs no introduction worldwide. Yes, Joe Bugner was Hungarian born heavyweight, and he came to Britain as a young kid during the Soviet Union invasion, and he plied his trade in St Ives, Cambridgeshire, and soon took to the amateur ranks and professional early. He was British heavyweight champion, I think, in 1970 when he beat Henry Cooper. And my namesake, yes, of course, I am Joe Bugner Smith. That was my fight name career. And how did I get that name? Back in the day, don't look like it now, but I used to have blonde curly hair, but that was nothing to do with it, and people thought it was a natural resemblance. And for myself, the way it worked was I was a baby in arms. I was born in 1971, and he just defeated Henry Cooper. He was a British heavyweight champion, European heavyweight and commonwealth champion. And my uncle would pick me up, my uncle Neville, bless him, he's passed now, passed at a young age, but picked me up and he said, there's our next Joe Bugner. And so I literally had the name from a baby in arms, because Joe Bugner was the fashionable fighter. So yeah, my namesake, and I wore those colours, dressing gown, stays with me. Many of my friends call me Bugner now, Joe Bugner. They don't call me Joe Smith or Joe Stockings. It's Bugner, Joe Bugner. Yeah, so so it's only right and fitting. As I say, it comes with sadness that the man died, and he was suffering from dementia. And before I go through to his career a bit more, it seems to be a bit more, I'm seeing a lot of ex-fighters and a couple of mates are suffering with dementia, and apparently scientifically I think it's mostly proven that there is a form of it due to blows in the head. And what happens, it often happens, and all the people that sort of suffering, and the people I know, were very, very hard men, and Joe Bugner was an exceptionally hard man. When he had a chin of granite. You know, he really, really was bit of a chin. He twice went the distance with Ali. It's such a good fight. Yeah, and it was called on for the world heavyweight title over 15. He won over 12. Joe Frazier. It was the only ever living fighter to go the distance with both Frazier and Ali. He had a great fight with Frazier. He lost by a pint or so. And yeah, so Joe Bugner's a granite chinned. I think he had 83 fights, 69 wins. They said he won a big puncher. I think he had like 43 knockouts. So he was no feather duster either. He could hit a bit. Very big man. Stood at 6'4", an heavyweight in the 70s. Very big man. And that famous saying when I think it was in the movie Apollo Creed in the Rocky film, when he shouts out to Joe Frazier. Apollo Creed says, "I want you next, Joe. You next, Joe." It actually come from Ali shouting out the ringside to there's some footage of it somewhere, the Joe Bugner, and they're saying there, "I want you next, Joe," because they had such a good fight the first time. And he was the boy, and he delivered. They fought in Kuala Lumpur, and severe heat. And in testament to Bugner, people said he didn't try hard enough. Ali went to hospital with exhaustion, but he said, "You weren't in there at 120 degrees or something." And the actual war, part of his training was a suit that the divers wear, so a plastic rubber suit, and he said running that to get used to the temperature that was going to face them in Kuala Lumpur. And it was around 120. It was back, you know, silly, you know, it might have been 120, it might have been 110, but it was huge. He was certainly post 100 factually, and to fight in that sort of temperature. So I may have overstepped the mark with 120. I think I have actually, but it was definitely over 100. Yeah, but anyway, 15 rounds, Ali exhaustion, and Joe Bugner was in the swimming pool with two beautiful women. And somebody says, Joe, they said, "Could you have tried harder?" And he said, "Well, I made the money," he said, "and living to see it," he says, "is also handy as well." And he just swam away. But I think that was a little bit of, as I say, the heat took the fight down a bit. He had his moments. It was around a 6-round win for Ali in over 15. You know, he had his rounds and his moments. And in fact, it was quite a good fight. As I say, when you're fighting at around 100, they brought it down. But it was never very popular in Great Britain when he beat R. Henry. R. Henry was the man that decked Ali with the left hook, and he was Henry's hammer, the left hook, and when Bugner had beaten him in a controversial decision, he was always playing second fiddle, and eventually he emigrated to Australia, called him Aussie Joe, married Marlene, his second wife, and life in a couple of comebacks. He come back against, I think he had 4 comebacks all in all. When he come back over here under Frank Warren, he went again, defeated I think Eddie Nielsen on his return, former title challenger. Anyway, he built a career, and then he had that big Frank Bruno fight, age 38. He gave a good account of himself. Bruno was a young man, and Bugner had done most of it and been there, miles on the clock with the likes of Frazier, Shavers, and so on. And Ali, he's already done his bit. But he moved on and he come back and took Scott Welsh on. Then probably in his 40s, I think, and Scott Welsh managed to do him, but he would do. He's a big, strong young man, world title contender himself. Lots of age on his side. And eventually, actually, Bugner got the WBF, the world title, it was World Boxing Federation title. He beat James Bone Crusher Smith, the man that knocked Frank Bruno out. On the final round. Bone Crusher Smith went the distance with Mike Tyson. Give him a very good fight, and they went as a couple of oldies, and Bugner was doing a job on him. Bugner, different pronunciations, was doing a job on him, and Bone Crusher's shoulder come out, but Bugner was winning the fight, so he did win a version of it. But most definitely, if he'd have been in Britain of today with 4, 5 versions, I mean, they're almost making titles for some fighters, aren't they? To get him up there and out there, he would have 100,000,000% and been a world champion of versions of it. And he was very unlucky to face an era where he had Ali and Frazier with only 1 title. But he was the British Commonwealth and done all the other bits. Never met my namesake. Always had a soft spot for him, former namesake, I thought, but I just really admired him as a fighter. My cousin had sparred with him, as near as I got, and never had met the fella. But I think he had a great life while it was lasting. I don't think he was an ale-raiser with anybody liked his wine, his drink, he owned vineyards, he married a beautiful couple of ladies. He dated many beautiful ladies. I think he had a good life, but it just come to a bit of a sad end with the dementia. Colin Hart, from the late Colin Hart from The Sun, I'd say that he went to see Joe out there and in the care home. He said, come on in, everything's good. He said, Marlene will be back in a minute, she'll make us some food, how are you doing? So it was quite sad. That's not a bad state of mind, thinking your wife's still there, but then when it goes beyond that and you're leaving it, but we're living in, it's sad. Anyway, it's sad, it only gets worse, as I say, if you're not so bad and you're talking to people, you're eating and drinking and you're thinking things are good, it's not so bad, but when it gets beyond that, it's an horrendous, sad thing. But as I say, bring in a tribute to my namesake, and you youngsters out there, trust me, had a beautiful left hand, great eye defensive skills. I took a lot on board. I tell my son to still take some on board. Great eye defensive move, great chin, good defensive skills, but a lot of them punches got through over a long career, and sadly it looked like it took its toll on the great man. And he was great. He was a British, Commonwealth, European and world title challenger, and we'll even give him a version of the WBF. So Joe Bugner, rest in peace. Thanks for what you brought to us, entertainment. We're still watching your skills, and so on, and it's all there for us to see. So sorry I can't bring you better news. It is sad for British boxing, but Joe Bugner and that beautiful left hand, it goes a bit better than this, but God bless you, mate.